Hey, I'm Bishop Senegal. Welcome to the Green Room. If you're watching the replay, you'll want to fast forward a couple of minutes while we let people come in.
Grace and peace.
Grace and peace.
What's going on, brother?
You finished grilling?
Huh?
You finished your grilling?
I did. We're done.
What y'all grill?
We did turkey burgers, hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
And what kind of sides did y'all have?
So it was just a little bit of size because it was only us really. So I did like a pasta salad, um, had some vegetables. Um, Larry wanted potato salad. Just nothing too big. Hey.
Great evening, everybody. Grace and peace. Come in, come on. And do us a favor when you get in, two things: hit the like button and then share it. Jazz, I hadn't seen you shout in a while, my dear niece. I need to see your feet on the floor. Come in, everybody share. Oh no, Bree. Yeah, Bree is frozen. I thought you were just sitting back. There we go.
It kicked me off.
That must be a spirit from the movie The Deliverance. Since I watched it, it's probably some demonic
That's
activity.
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly
We're
that
we're
is
going to talk about that
exactly
in a
what
second.
it is.
Whatever. Everybody hop in. Once you get in, hit the like for us, and then in the bottom right corner you see the little airplane. Send that, share it, send it to at least 3 people for us. I had to make a quick turnaround trip today. Now, best barbecue in the country
Oh
is
yeah, you went out of
is
town. You just went today.
it's in Lafayette, Louisiana. Yeah,
You
did a quick turn.
only went there for barbecue?
No, I didn't go for barbecue. I had business to
Oh.
take care of.
Mm.
I've been overtaken by a portal. Because that's what they say in Tim. If you watch it, you're going to become a
Are
portal.
they really saying that?
I'm telling you, the Saints are going in on Facebook about anybody watching this movie. Let's see. As y'all are coming in, again, it's 26 of you on. Hit the like button and share.
What's up, man of God?
Praise the Lord, prophetess.
Tim, you've been overtaken. You watched the movie. You okay? Any? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, we got all black on. You know what I'm saying?
But see, Tim, you got to get one. You got to get your green room shirt. I got on drop the dot. Now, why does my camera on Instagram? Why is it backwards like this?
It ain't backwards this
Oh,
way.
really?
Because
It's backwards for me.
it's the demonic force over there in your house.
The devil be
Uncle,
the camera. What'd you say, Tim?
my Uncle Mark is
Oh,
on.
Hey, Misha.
so
I'm
y'all are
tired.
coming in. Everybody share.
What you eating?
Same apple.
Let me. Oh, you know what I got to do? Let's see. I need to send a text blast out to our Inside Access community. If y'all are not in the Inside Access, you want to text TGRLive.
Africa. Hey.
All right, we got Africa. We're gonna find out where everybody's watching from in just a second. If you haven't already done it, you want to text TGRLive to the number 54244 so that you get notified whenever we go live, and anytime we've got inside behind the scenes stuff going on, you'll be among the first to know. Y'all let us know where y'all are watching from. 47 of you on, hit the like button and share. Let us know where y'all are watching from. I haven't been to Africa in about 2 years now, I guess. Last time I went, what's wrong, Tim? Pastors and musicians who hit women.
Musicians is crazy.
Yeah, boy.
TK. All right, we got Newark, New Jersey, Virginia, Gambia, Baltimore. I got to get back up to Baltimore. I was there last month and I forgot that it was crab season, so I got to get
They
back up.
have the best crabs.
I'm telling you, I'm going back just for crabs.
God.
We got Dayton, Ohio, Massachusetts, Shaw Dizzle, Jersey, Brooklyn. Who else? Thank you, Jesus First Son. Dallas, Georgia.
Tim, why is that apple so small?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean,
I don't think.
Huh?
I don't think you're supposed to be eating that right now. Wow. Is it sweet?
It's good.
Brooklyn.
Hey, look, y'all see what? All right.
Amen.
Amen.
On now.
Amen.
God is good.
Akron. Who else is? Y'all let us know where y'all are watching from.
We have the best
let us know where you're watching from.
Where was it?
What'd you say, Tim? Wait, what'd you say, Tim?
I'm from Teach University.
I cannot. I cannot.
Alabama.
I got my bachelor's in Googleologist.
Lord. Santa Monica, California. Tim, they said they don't think your apple was done growing yet. You ate it prematurely.
I will be in Cali this month for my birthday.
DMV. You like what's on my teeth? I don't. I want them to get off as soon as possible. Duval.
I got a while to go. Duval. Yes, ma'am.
Brooklyn.
Say it, Tim.
Baltimore. So when we looked at
say that.
When we looked at where our followers were at, we had quite a few in the Baltimore area. So maybe we can do like a little live pop-up. Here's what we'll do, y'all. Tell me what y'all think about it. When our YouTube channel hits 1,000 people, we need to do a live pop-up green room somewhere.
Hey, do people still do this?
I don't know. I never did it.
Don't that mean I love you or something like that?
Like gang, 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 gang.
No.
No, I think that means I love you with that one up.
Yeah.
We got somebody from the North Pole. Meet you, Miss Childish.
Arizona. Yeah, I think maybe we're going to see what our poll finalizes. But Baltimore looks like we had the most folks out in Baltimore. Arizona. Tim, they said you're losing it. Hawaii.
Meet your man.
This man has been from 5 different places in the last second.
Hawaii. Very dangerous place to be.
How many of y'all are following us? Are subscribed to our YouTube channel? We got 344 people subscribed right now.
I don't know why this is funny. Somebody said, I'm 2 years in my braces. I love mine. This is my third set. Why is it your third set?
Yeah. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we need you to subscribe. It's 344. If we hit 400 by this Sunday, that will be averaging about 100 a week. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good. So the link is there. Y'all can subscribe to it. If you all missed last week's show, last week we did a recap of the great debate and
disaster.
You know, um, hmm. Any Bree, Tim, any thoughts on?
I let Bree go first.
I don't really have any thoughts. I think what's going on, like outside of the green room, is a little insane. Um, just the just the lack of emotional intelligence is a lot for me. It's but it is dragging. It needs to stop. And so it's done.
You know what I have concluded is that some people who just want attention don't care whether it's positive or negative attention.
Yeah.
And I put a post up a little earlier today as I was just thinking about some of the foolishness about, you don't tear stuff up trying to fight small people. The measure, Tim will call this me being Dr. Phil. Maybe I have a Dr. Senegal moment on every show if y'all will let me have that. The measure of a person as a leadership, if you want to determine the type of leader you have, watch two things. Watch how they win and watch how they lose.
Yeah.
And you can tell a lot about a person's character, maturity, and integrity by how they win and how they lose. So
Right.
there is that. Let me share this to my page.
Because here's my 2 cents on the recap. Davis, I don't have no issue with Davis. I don't think he got no issue with me. And if he does, I mean, he just got one. But I think he left the debate, and I think he left recap, and he started acting like a bee. I really do. I mean, like some old woman feeling like she done got her feelings hurt, and she trying to figure out a way to get back at the man. He was acting like a little HO online. And Ardemo teach me, come on, Lynch. Don't do that, Lynch. I said,
No, no,
I
no, no, no,
said,
It's
no, no, no.
okay. It's okay.
Okay, we
Let's
got
know what
it.
you're
We
talking about.
got it.
It's
I
fine.
sit on there and y'all encouraging him with his old black bald head, peanut head, splinter, uh, Michael Jordan, wannabe Bible LeBron. What else he calling himself? Egotistical. And you know what's crazy about these people? Don't nobody know they ass. They don't know them. Talking about, oh man. So yeah,
So if
honestly, but let me say this. Honestly, it'd be my fault because I really try to give these little niggas a chance. You know what I mean? And sometimes when they get, I don't know what happens, Bree, when they get in front of the cameras and they just switch up. They switch up. These people ain't got nothing going on. I mean, when I say they ain't got nothing going on, I mean he ain't got nothing going on. That man owned every hotel in the city of Orlando. He in the negative. Talk about Teach Me Academy. Y'all better get on out of here talking about that. Stop playing.
if
Anyway,
if you
that,
miss if you missed last week's recap, the full recap is on our YouTube
hey,
channel,
y'all tell him I said it. I got more.
and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can watch the full stuff. Have y'all seen the movie The Deliverance?
I have. I watched it.
You know what? Now since I'm on one, I'm so sick of the Pentecostal prophetic people. I'm so guard your spirit, guard your heart, guard your mind and your soul. You know, if you watch it, it's gonna open up a portal that's gonna suck you into a dark place, and it's gonna take major deliverance to get you out of this place. Hey, Senegal, I grew up on Candyman, all the Halloweens, all the Friday the 13th, Children of the Corn, the People Under the Stairs,
Exorcist,
The Exorcist, Silence of the Lamb, Jason. All of a sudden now it's a movie. It's a movie out in 2024 on Deliverance, and now all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I'm rebuking the screen. I'm rebuking the screen. They throwing oil and all the prophetic people like, I don't recommend this. You know what? I'm so sick. See, I'm so sick of the prophetic folk just acting like they some generals and fathers of the faith, and when they say something, we gotta come subject to what they got going on. Man, go find y'all some pastors, enjoy y'all local church. I'm so sick.
Because a bunch of them are online.
They get on
and this particular movie is about deliverance. It's not focused on the paranormal. That's not the focus, right? They highlight the power of the name of Jesus, although that apostle, prophet, evangelist got beat down.
For her, but
wait, we can't spoil it though.
Okay.
We don't want to spoil it. But yeah. And of course I like horror movies. I know some of y'all may send me to hell. My mother don't believe. My mother, Tim, this ain't nothing new, because my mother told me when she was in her 30s, I forget what the horror movie was of her day, and she said she was sitting there and the spirit came out of the TV, grabbed her, and she couldn't say nothing. And she said in her heart that if God would break that thing off of her, she would never watch another horror movie. And so I don't have that testimony, though. I enjoy. They're mostly they're funny to me. But so if you haven't seen The Deliverance, I think you should watch it. Check it out. And
had a nightmare.
So I think my take on it was a pretty good movie. It was a pretty good movie, but I don't like horror movies. Like I don't like horror movies. I don't like anything spiritual. I don't like no demons. I don't like no exorcism, anything. If I'm in church and a demon is being casted out, I'm going all the way to the back, or I'm going in the vestibule. Like I don't that's just me. I'm very scary when it comes to.
Hey, we the same. I don't play that demon cast.
I don't like when I was traveling with my mom, and like she would have like a deliverance service, or a demon would come out. They already know, catch me when it's out, and after the instructions on where she tells it to go, then you bring me back in, because I don't even want it to even try to come in my vicinity to come at me. Like, the direction she telling her to go, it might be past my direction, and then it might try to take a U-turn. No, I ain't got
I'm excited.
I don't play with it.
I enjoy seeing the power and demonstration of the name of Jesus.
God bless you.
When we are casting the devil out. Glory to God.
No, I don't. And to me, I don't think I am spiritually mature to be trying to. I don't want to see that. God bless you. I'm gonna pray for you while I'm out here. But that, I don't think it was like a portal situation. Like, I didn't say that. I'm just scary. Like, Larry can be watching Hocus Pocus or something, or some type of, he likes vampire movie. I'd be like, that's demonic. They drinking blood? That's crazy. That's demonic. I'm good. So it wasn't like it was just more, it's more about me. I don't like horror movies. I don't like scary movies. Certain TV shows I won't watch. But that's just me.
Hey, I didn't like the Holy Ghost for years. I thought I heard it when I was younger, because I'm like, why are they doing all that, like, all that jerking and stuff? And so when they used to have an altar call and ask people, do they want to tear for the Holy Ghost, I used to go to the bathroom and stay.
You got to
come to the bathroom. We know you're here. You know what's
now things are starting to make sense. Tim got the Holy Ghost late in life.
Oh yeah.
So it's still getting acclimated.
No, when y'all was in church, did y'all ever watch in children's church, You've Been Left Behind?
Yes.
That scared
we need that back in the church. That's why these young people ain't getting saved. They no fear. No, that Left Behind.
That was correct. how they was just the cars was just wrecking.
That was
No, that
it.
scared me.
That's it.
Absolutely not.
Now, have you all been seeing, and we're getting, those of you that are coming on, we're getting ready to get into our talks now. We got a guest coming on. Have y'all been seeing this beef on TikTok between prophetess Tiffany Montgomery, Celestial, and another young lady, what's her, Joanne, who
She didn't chime in?
yeah. Oh, she's been after Tiffany. But you know, Joanne is really a spiritual daughter of Tiffany Montgomery. If
Here we go.
for real.
Here we go with this.
For real. For real. No, if you watch and you listen, her cadence, stuff she says, she was in Tiffany Montgomery's ministry. Now, I don't care what none of y'all say about Tiffany Montgomery. Tiffany Montgomery is a more accurate modern day depiction of a biblical prophet than a lot of these folk we got in the pulpit. Y'all say what y'all want to say.
I don't follow her ministry, so I can't say she is or she's not. I just see what people have said about her, and one of my close family members used to travel with her, and he just recently did a video concerning her, so that's all I really know. I don't know of her like that. I know she was talking about Beyonce, and that's my girl, so.
Well, she was right about Beyonce. Y'all need to come out of that. Y'all, see,
But
that's
you
what I'm
watch
talking about.
horror
Y'all
movies. Are
talking
you
about some
crazy
portal
here?
with the deliverance, but not with the whole beehive.
I didn't
Come
say
out of
I
here.
didn't say it was a portal about deliverance.
I'm saying that's what's all over the internet, is that it opens a
But
portal. The movie that delivers.
Beyonce don't have nothing like Beyonce. It ain't nothing wrong with Beyonce. Let me tell you something. I encourage every woman, if not male, I encourage every woman to go to one
The
of her
devil
concerts.
is a lie.
Amazing.
That is the most like
We're not
the energy.
black hoods on at burning altars. Like, yeah, we listen. Crazy.
She is a performer.
Yeah.
Like the energy. That is the only 3-hour concert that I will stand up the whole time. The whole time.
Music is the sound of spirit. And whether we want to acknowledge it or not, the music that we listen to absolutely has spiritual influence and implications. I ain't listening to no Beyonce nothing. Devil is a lie.
But you
Come on.
watch horror movies though.
Indeed, I do. Matter of fact, there's one I got to go see now. I think it's called Long Leg or something like that. I had good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So, well, let's get into our discussion. It's 56 of y'all on. If you haven't already, do us a favor. Double tap the screen so we get a like from you. That'll help us boost the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you need to come over there, because maybe we need to do a couple of shows exclusively on YouTube, so that folks got to come over there and meet us, because Instagram is limiting in terms of the way we can kind of produce the show. And so make sure you're following us on YouTube. And some of you all last week, one or two of you all asked about being a part of the team. If you are a creative in any way, in any sense, you do graphics, you do media stuff, you do video stuff, if you are a creative producer, any of that kind of stuff, and want to be a part of the Green Room team, right now we're in the volunteer stages. But if you ride with us,
That's right.
you gotta ride now.
You gotta ride.
You gotta ride. If y'all pray real strong, maybe Minister Elijah Sumo will ride a little bit for the Green Room. He's the best to do it. Right
Really?
through here. Oh, what? Let me tell you.
No better.
All of the folk who you are seeing with major production stuff online right now, if he hasn't produced it, he's trained the folk that are producing.
Oh, really?
He is.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
He's
Yeah,
it.
I hope God moves on his heart, because we are doing some wonderful, heavy things with the Green Room. So if you ride with us a little bit, it's going to be a wonderful reward at the end.
All right, well, let's bring our guest on up tonight. Let's bring our guest up tonight. Tonight we're talking about pastors who hit women.
And I want y'all to tag all the pastors that is out here hitting these women. All right, tag them in there, right?
Pastors.
Good evening, woman of God.
Good evening.
So about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, at Safe House Unmuzzled, the advocacy agency that Brent and I do work with, was handling different cases. Nikiya Monet, she's a podcaster, and she was there on her channel on Facebook helping us to push the conversation. And when she and I were chatting one day, I didn't realize that I had a frame of reference for who she was, as I had seen a video a couple of years, I guess a couple of years before, online. And so we want to talk a little bit about it. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. It's a nice Monday, although I thought it was still Sunday, but it's okay.
That's good. That's good. So we're going to talk tonight again about pastors who hit women, and I wanted to talk about just some of your story. I know you wrote a book, and we'll talk some about that and how we can get it. I'm going to play the video. Some of y'all might have seen it on our page earlier today. I'm going to play it. See, this is one of the reasons why we got to leave Instagram, because see, this is storefront-ish for me to have to hold my phone up and play the video from my other phone. But we got to do what we got to do until we get over to YouTube. So I'm going to play the video, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit.
Ahead of you, growing in ministry, growing, living, relaxing. So one day, devil is that matter.
Stupid ass fucking whore. Touch me if you fucking want to. Touch me if you fucking touch me if you fucking want to, bitch. Stop holding it. Stop holding it. Now stop holding it. Stop holding it now. Stop holding it. Stop holding this now. It's a fucking church. It's a fucking here.
Hey,
And once the glass shattered, so did all those dreams.
when
So did all those
you,
hopes.
What'd you say?
when you show a video, you gotta get on the camera on Instagram and turn your camera around and play it with the palm of your hand.
Why was it doing on this side?
Can't see it.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
So y'all couldn't see. Let's see. Well, trigger warning, those of you that are just coming on. We're getting ready to have a conversation about domestic violence. And although we joke around a lot in the green room, we take this conversation seriously. And so tell us a little bit about your background, and then walk us up to the video.
Ugh, that video was so long ago. I guess not that long ago, but it seems like it. So I'm Nikiya Monet. I was in ministry for quite some time, in the good black church world. And through the course of me being in ministry is how I met my ex-husband. I met him one night at a church service, actually, and that was the first time of me ever really seeing him. I'd never even heard of him before. So I was like in a church service.
My phone popped back on.
So I met him in a church service. I think out in the Bronx. Yeah, it was out in the Bronx. I met him at a church service. And that was my first real encounter with him. He was one of those ones that everyone would always say was an extremely accurate prophet, because he'd always start spelling people's names and saying people's addresses and stuff like that, and then releasing to them a word or whatever. So when I met him, I saw him doing that, I was like, oh wow, that's very interesting stuff or whatever. Because I had never really seen people who actually would do that, like would just start naming, like start spelling out people's names and stuff like that. So when we met at that church service, I was just like, oh, okay, he's interesting. And I never forgot because at the end of that service, I think he had shook my hand, and I was like, why the hell is he shaking my hand, right? Like, I'm just here at a church service or whatever. So I always thought that that was weird. So when we met again, which was at another church service, when I saw him this for the second time, that was when we originally started like talking. We really started talking about ministry stuff because at that time I was helping a lot of other ministries with things like administrative tasks and stuff like that, drawing up paperwork and all sort of extra stuff. So originally when we started talking, it was really about that, how he wanted to set up his ministry, how he wanted everything to flow, like the different paperwork and all sort of extra stuff. So I started really helping him on that end of it. And then as I started helping him on that end of it, we started to like date, I guess you can say. And things definitely were very interesting as far as that whole dating life was concerned. It was very interesting.
So how long did y'all date before you got married?
About a year and a half.
And what was that dating phase like?
Very rocky. Um, it was very rocky because so there were a few different women that were part of his ministry. Um, there was this one apostle who was a part of his ministry. There was another young lady, a couple of different young ladies that were part of his ministry. And immediately when I started to just help him like with the paperwork and everything, there started to be a lot of tension. And I couldn't understand why it was so much tension. And one the apostle lady, and actually, which is weird, she texted me out the blue like maybe a couple weeks ago just to pop in and check up on me and see how I was doing. But originally, she didn't like me, and so she had started like basically like a bunch of different rumors and stuff like that. And I'm the type person that you can say whatever you want about me. You can say you really can, but and you can say it to whoever you would like to say it to. But as long as you don't bring that stuff to my face, I'm okay with it. So she never brought it to my face. She started to like whisper certain things or whatever. He brought it to me, and I was just like, I don't care. I said, as long as she doesn't say it to me. I said, if she says it to me, it's gonna be a problem. I don't care where I'm at. So just one day she just came up to me and just started hugging me in church and asking me for forgiveness. And if there's one thing I hate that. Like, don't start asking for forgiveness about things if you have not openly said to me exactly what you did that you would want me to forgive you for. So I just found her energy to be very weird, and very controlling, slightly manipulative at that time. That's what I was thinking at that time. And then the other young lady, I just always found her to be very flirtatious and very inappropriate. And I used to say that to him, like, why is she touching you like that? Well, why would she, like, one day he was sitting down after ministering or whatever, and she came and kind of like stood like in between his legs. I said, that's inappropriate. I said, why would she stand like that? Like, he was like, what are you talking about? I don't remember her doing that. I'm like, she stood right in between your legs. Like, what are you talking? Like, we were all sitting there. So it was like so many different things that was happening at that time that I would question the things, but then listen to what he was saying as far as the responses to like a lot of my questions. Because I'm gonna say in that year and a half that we dated, I think I dumped him like 3 times, and I probably should have stayed with the last dump and not taken him back. But I thought he had apologized or whatever. But it was very rocky, and that's part of the reason why, like, once we got married, like, everybody was just like, oh, see, you guys made it through, it's like that struggle love type thing, like, you know what I'm saying, we think that it's normal to be hurt and be constantly let down in relationships, and then when you finally think that you've made it, then boom, oh, it's all these big congratulations and stuff like that. But there were so many different things that just kept happening, like everything. It's kind of like everything that he said was turning out to be bigger stories than what he was actually making it out to be. So, and there were so many situations that just kept happening. And then, like I said, it would be like as if when he's traveling in ministry, like this person's coming, that person's coming, and everything just started to become very strange, very weird. And I would question these things. I'm like, I see it, so of course I'm going to ask questions about it. But at that time, I was willing to accept his responses to a lot of those questions that I was asking. That just didn't make sense to me.
Hmm. And so fast forward, and you all get married. Yeah, did y'all have a public wedding?
No, we got married in the living room.
Why didn't y'all have a public wedding? Because
So
he was
it was
pastoring at the time.
yeah, he was a bishop.
Hmm.
hmm Um, it was supposed to be, so the day that we got married, it was supposed to be at the church, in Bloomfield, and all this stuff. All of a sudden, like that morning, he says, one of the young ladies, she was going to the church. She ended up leaving. So he said at that time, she left the church. Um, he says, oh, they're threatening to come and disrupt the wedding and this, that, and the third. So we can't do it at the church. And I'm like, what? It's the day of. Like, what do you mean we can't do it at the church? And he's like, it's going to be this big deal, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
So
all right,
who is the they he's saying is threatening to disrupt it?
this young lady and her friend.
Hmm.
She was a member of the church. At that time, she had left the church. She was no longer going to the church. And I was like, why the hell would she care for if we get married? Like, what is this big deal? Like, what is happening? You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, well, we can't do it at the church. So at the time, my friend Vincent was the one that was set to marry us because he's a pastor too. So I called my friend Vincent and I was like, listen, I'm not going through with this wedding. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, this whole big deal. It can't be at the church, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what the hell is going on. Because I was at the nail salon. I was getting a pedicure. I was like, I'm at the nail salon and I'm really just about to cancel this whole thing because at this point, I just don't care. And Vincent was like, no, you're not. The devil is a liar. We're still going through with this. Let me call him. Let me figure out what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So Vincent calls him. And in the midst of Vincent calling him, he's texting me like, why do you want to marry me? I'm like, at this point, I don't. Like, I'm not answering. I said, I'm not answering 21 questions the day we're supposed to get married on why I want to marry you. Like, I'm not doing this with you. So we can just cancel this right now and it's okay. Because the day we got married, the marriage license was expiring the next day. So I was like, we can just let this expire because it'll be over at midnight. So Vincent convinced him and talked to me. He was like, no, the devil's not going to win. You guys are going to get married today. And that's how we got married in the living room.
Wow. Did he say why the two women were making a big deal, threatening to disrupt?
No, he just said they're threatening to disrupt the wedding and we can't have it at the church. Kind of finds out really into like years later, he never even, so we were renting an upstairs from a church. He had never even asked the pastor or even told the pastor that he was going to use the church that day for this actual wedding. There were so many, like I said, there were so many different lies that was being exposed. The young lady, she never even threatened to do anything, but that can be explained further down into the story on why he's basically making up all of these stories to say what we can't do. Because to be honest, I would have rather him just say, "Fuck, let's not get married, leave it alone. It's okay. He can go about his business. I can go about mine, and let that be a done deal." But that's not what he did. It was like a constant game with him of like this chase, and it was so constant, and it was like literally was like every single day it was something different that was happening. And yeah, so
So,
he never really gave a real example for or explanation for why she was going to whatever, but
so in the
yeah.
year and a half of y'all dating, was there ever any physical altercation during that time?
No, he would only make threats. Like, and the one time he made a threat, it was more or less like, because I just went off because I was like, you're lying, whatever. And he was just like, no one speaks to me like that. And you're lucky that I don't come up there because I would tie you up and this, that, and the third. And I was like, and I told him, I said, and bitch, I wish you'd try me.
Mm.
Try that one. You know what I'm saying? I said, because you probably wouldn't make it out of New York messing with me and my family. So, and at that time, I'm like, I wasn't really paying it no attention. I really wasn't paying it any mind, like as far as someone making threats or whatever. So it didn't really faze me. But yeah, he did make threats.
So you all get married. Y'all are Now you're the first lady of the church. He ordains you, right, in ministry.
Mm-hmm.
You all get married. And how long were y'all married for?
6 months.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I want to point out, and this is no shade to your friend Vincent person, I don't know him. One of the things, saints, we got to stop doing is always assuming that God's will in every situation is reconciliation. I was talking, Tim, to Pastor Stephen Brown the other day, and he was putting, I won't call their names out, but he was putting two prophets on the phone that day. And I said to him, I said, I want you to make sure, maybe I shouldn't tell this on here, but I done said it now. I said, I want you to make sure that it is God telling you to bridge that gap. Because a lot of times our wisdom and a lot of times our counsel, if we are not careful, will be guided by our own desires, hyper spiritualized, that end up getting folk in situations that could, kill them and leave them messed up. So y'all get married. At what point did things ever calm down between y'all? Y'all having all these fights and arguments, verbal fights during the dating period. Did things ever calm down?
It's kind of like things would calm down and then boom, an explosion would happen, right? So anytime, and he's never been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, but I feel like he is one, and so I just run with that because he just has all the classic signs of a narcissist. So anytime you're dealing with people like that, they have to take you on a journey, and it's a long, long journey. So they don't want you to get that upset because they still need you for a purpose, right? Like at that time, as far as the church was concerned and the whole living situation was concerned, I was pretty much paying for everything. You know what I'm saying? Helping them out with the church rent. Everything was pretty much in my name as far as like the cars that we had and all this other extra stuff. So it was like his need for me was more of a financial and stability type need than he had the need for other people, because with the other people, they couldn't afford to do the things that I could do. So it was more or less like, let me keep them around, but I got to keep her because I definitely need a place to stay, or else I'm going to be back out here sleeping in my car and stuff like that. So it was always an up and down emotional ride with him. It was never ever smooth sailing. Like I can remember a time he was going down to a church in it was in Delaware. I forgot the lady's name, but it was a church in Delaware, and he was like hell bent on me not going to this service. And originally I wasn't even going to go because I really didn't want to. I'm like, I can care less. I don't want to go. And something said, no, you're going. So I said, okay. I said, I'm going. And he was so angry the whole ride to Delaware, to the point where he attempted to blame me for him being angry. And I was like, you're sitting here arguing with me about me coming to a church service. What's the big deal? So what happened? So as we're driving, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to stay. I'll drop you off and I'm going back home. But when I pulled up, I was like, no, you're staying. And I stayed. And he was so angry. He was like, what, you're staying? I was like, yeah, I am. Yep, I'm definitely going to stay. And what ends up happening is the young lady who supposedly he was no longer in communication with, she was at the church service. And I was like, no wonder he didn't want me to stay. Like, you didn't want me to come here
This
because she's here.
girl that was supposed to cause the disruption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now we're all at this church service. Now, the pastor of that church, she knew that he and I was married. So originally what she asked for, she said, I want you to introduce your husband. I was like, oh, okay.
So,
So
so,
as a serv
so
uh-huh.
I got married. The marriage wasn't made public
It was
initially.
all public because it was live on Facebook. Everybody knew
Gotcha.
because it was live on Facebook. It's just that I personally think that he was lying to her to try and make it seem like we were not married when we really were.
Mhm.
Like as if I was just some delusional woman, but I'll get to that story too, because that was a good one that he told another church. But so the girl was there. So the lady, she wanted me to introduce him. So she had went to him. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have your wife introduce you." Blah blah blah. Whatever. Right? Okay, fine. So as the service started or whatever, and people started getting filled with the Holy Ghost, I guess. So he just jumps right up and just introduces himself and flows right into the service, right? And I paid attention to it all, so I was just watching. I was like, okay, I see what he's doing. So then during the service, he tries to give me like a fake word, like, "Come here, I have a word for you." I'm like, "What?" So he tells me some nonsense about what the Lord is saying. And I was like, "Don't ever do that to me. The Lord didn't tell you that." And I turned around and sat down. And he gave her a word. And I have no idea what the hell he whispered in her ear during that service either. But it then happened to be what I think it started snowing that day. It started snowing. So I'm home. He takes the car and was like, "Oh, I gotta go." He told me he had to go pick up his armor bearer. I gotta go pick up. He's stuck at the train station, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, how's he stuck at a train station? He wasn't even nowhere like near. He wasn't even at the church service. So what I think happened, I think that he left, and I think he went to go meet up with her. I still don't know if that's the truth, but I think that's what he did.
Wow.
So and it was a lot. Like even that night, it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with, and I was just like, you know what? And I told him then, I said, we don't have to be married. I'm okay. Like, we can go get these papers annulled. We can get a divorce. We can do whatever, because I'm over this whole entire situation. I said, you're not going to sit up here and have me out here looking crazy because of the things that you're doing. I was like, I see what you're doing. And what happened was the pastor of that church, when she saw the young lady, because she was like, you know, you're his wife, and I see what the enemy is trying to do, but you still stand your ground. And I'm like, I don't think these people understand that this ain't no enemy. This is all him. Like, you can't sit up here and keep blaming the devil for something that this is what this man is actually doing. So we had went into marriage counseling and everything. Like, it was, she was a licensed counselor, or whatever. She was a licensed therapist, but kind of like with a Christian background. But that didn't even work. I was like, this is not working, because at that time I was just over it. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do nothing. I didn't even know that was like depression at that time. I just thought that the Lord was just calling me into prayer. So I literally would be up like all times of the night just praying, like, "God, I don't know what this evilness is that is in my house, but you need to get rid of it." People were telling me, like, you know what I'm saying, just go anoint the doors, anoint the windows, anoint. And I'm literally running around doing all this stuff. And I'm like, it's still here. It's not leaving. Probably because it was him. But, you know, I'm like skinny as I couldn't even eat. Like, I would literally like take one bite of food and then be like, I don't want it no more. I'm done. I'm over it. So, and it was a lot. It was a lot that I had to deal with at that time, mentally, spiritually, because spiritually I was just like, I'm in a lost place right now, because how am I married to a so-called bishop, and this is how I'm feeling on a daily basis. And it wasn't that our marriage wasn't public. It was just that as public as it was still a very big secret. But part of the secrecy of it all was because he couldn't be public, because he was legally still married to his second wife when he married me.
Wait,
So
wait.
Wait a minute. You took us a little bit too fast. Let's go back. You said that when you and him got married, he was
And
technically
are
still
you saying
married.
his name? People are asking in the comments. Do you not want to say?
Okay.
We won't if you don't want to.
oh, you can say his name. I can care less about him.
Yeah. So his name is Cedric Bristol. Why are you laughing?
But you know what? I do want to say this. I really do. I want to say this. I applaud you for, telling your story and being, um, writing your book, and even coming on the platform and talking about it. Because a lot of people, they wouldn't do it. And this is more common than people really think. One thing that people don't know is my husband and I, we have a bell bonding business, and we we work close with law enforcement. And my brothers don't know this, but within this week, I have been running some background checks on certain prophets. And you would be surprised at the prophets and the pastors and the bishops and the preachers who have cases, who have domestic violence cases. And in my opinion, they should be exposed. So I applaud you, but I have within this week, I have looked up
Any
some people. And
states, Bree, or just
what'd you say?
any particular states you've been pulling this, or you just all over the?
Florida,
Wow.
um,
All right.
specifically Florida, but Tennessee, just different places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I concur. Let me tell you the power of taking your voice back for women, anyone who has been violated and abused, especially women within the Black church and the Pentecostal church. A lot of this stuff gets perpetuated because on the internet you can be just powerful.
Yeah.
You can be whoever you want to be, and unfortunately, if you're powerful enough, long enough on the internet, you'll find some folks who believe that you are powerful. And they may even change their last name. Tim, I saw your post the other day. These prophets out here got these people changing their last name that are following them and calling them God children and all that kind of stuff.
They're
Um,
having their godchildren change their last name to what? Like their last
their
name?
last name.
Interesting.
But when you give voice to it, at least it pulls the cover back. Although in your story, and I, of course, I'm gonna let you finish telling it. Even when you shared it, from what you shared, some that it didn't seem as though some of the church cared anyway. And let me say this: if we get cut off, I don't know if it's going to cut us off tonight. This Instagram account has only been letting us go for an hour, so if we get cut off at 9:30, we'll come right back on. Everybody just get right back on. So y'all are married, and you said that he was still legally married to his second wife. When did you find that out, and how did you find that out?
So she had been making claims the whole time that they were still married, but he kept calling her a liar and saying that she was lying. And then when we got married, he and again she made those claims because it was, like I said, our marriage was private, but when he ordained me as an elder in the church, that was public because that was on Facebook and it was on live. And when he did it, he said Nikiya Bristol, and she heard it and immediately was like, how could they be married and we're still married? And he immediately said that she was a liar. He said, no, my mother has all my paperwork. She's lying. We have been divorced. We divorced. And then he had his armor bearer co-sign. He was like, no, they've been divorced. They've been divorced since here. It was like January or something. And I was like, well, then why does she keep saying this if that's the truth? And to go back, so when he did his very first Holy Convocation down in Asbury Park, so when he did that convocation, the apostle lady that was part of the ministry at that time, his best friend had told her a lot of information. And when the best friend told her all of that information, she then sent out a blast email to everyone that was supposed to be part of the convocation, because Lillian Lloyd was coming. You had I forgot this other bishop's name, but he's part of Bible Way. You had all these people coming. You had Andre Cook coming. You had all these people coming, and she sent out a blast email basically letting them know. And in this email, she said, he's married. He has a wife in Rhode Island, and she's telling him he's driving your car and going to see his wife in Rhode Island. I mean, she just literally put everything on blast to the point where, as far as all the money that she had given for the ministry, and a lot. And he had everybody thinking that she was crazy and that she was lying on him and she was trying to destroy him and everything like that. And that was his whole agenda, like with even right now, if someone told him I'm doing this live, he probably would say that I'm lying and I'm just trying to destroy his name and all this other stuff because he has a good name or whatever. So, you know, everything with him was always to make the woman look crazy, make the woman look as if she was unstable mentally, because that's what he would always do. So when we got married or whatever, and he showed me this paperwork that was supposedly this divorce, and that paperwork wasn't even real. And he did a lot of different graphic designing and all other extra stuff, so he knew how to go online and just create stuff and do that. Because when we got married what, September 29th, right? So by that following year, there was a situation had arose where he was preaching at a church service up here. Well, he wasn't even preaching. He was supposed to release the prophetic word over here in Irvington at Christian Love. And so he was supposed to be there to do that. I was home because at that time I was pregnant and I was experiencing all day sickness. It definitely wasn't just in the morning, it was all day. So I was at home and I wasn't going. And I happened to just be sitting on the couch talking to my father, and we were just, and for some odd reason, we literally were talking about men cheating or whatever. And he was just saying how much it's a coward move for men to do that, this, that, and the third, all this other stuff. But while I'm on the phone with my father, one of his friends, she's Facebook inboxing me and she keeps trying to call me through Facebook, but I was on the phone with my dad. So when I got off the phone with him and I saw all her messages, and she kept asking me, "Where are you? Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm home." And she's like, "Why are you home?" And I'm like, "I'm not feeling well." Because at that time I wasn't, because it was so early in the pregnancy, I wasn't telling anyone that I was pregnant. Because at that time, I want to say I was only like maybe 6 weeks pregnant at that time. So I really wasn't telling anyone that I was pregnant. So I was like, "I just don't feel well." And she was like, "Well, you need to get here." And I'm like, "Where?" She was like, "You need to get to the church." And I'm like, "Why?" I said, "Who's there?" And she was like, "Alex is here." And I said, "Okay." And she said, and she called me. She was like, "He picked me up in your car. She was in your car, blah, blah, all this other extra stuff. They picked me up from the train station. We went to the church. She's
Who
here and you need to get here."
who
Huh?
was Alex?
That's the young woman, the one that he always tried to make it seem like she was crazy, wanted to disrupt weddings and stuff.
Okay.
So luckily I had, because at that time we had the two cars. So I got in the other car and I drove straight there. I called my friend Tia. I said, "I need you to meet me at this church." Because I had the car that he had, it had two keys. So I brought the other key with me. So she met me up. So before I even go inside the church, she met me outside. I said, "Listen, I'm going to take this car. We're going to move it." I said, "You take this car, park it by your house, and then come back to get your car, because I'm going to be right up in here." So that's what we did. So I parked. She took the car. She went to her house. She said, "Kia, you good?" I said, "I'm good." She was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "I'm perfectly good. I'm about to go inside this church." She was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I'll tell you later, but I'm going inside this church." So I parked the cars. I went inside the church. As I'm going inside the church, his armor bearer sees me, and his face is like, so I walk in there. He's up in the front. She's sitting down. She's holding like his hat and his towel thing and all this other stuff. So the towel thing that she's holding, I bought it. So I took it. I was like, "I bought that. That's mine." So she jumped up and I just looked at her like, so she ran to him and I sat down. So when I sat down and I'm looking out and she's talking to him, and he turned around and saw me. He was like, "Come here." And I was like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing this. I'm not coming anywhere." He was like, "Get over here now." I said, "Okay." So he was like, "You better not make no scene in this church." I said, "You should have thought about that before you brought your whore in here." I said, "Because I'm about to make a whole scene in this church." So as I'm walking back, she had like a bottle of water in her hand or whatever. So she tried to throw the water on me, but it missed me, which I was happy about, and it hit the people that were sitting down. So immediately I turned around because I was about to swing on her, because I was like, "I don't think you understand. Like, this is not really what you want in this church." So, but they grabbed me. They're like, "No, you got to go. You got to go. You got to go." So, but before they could get me out of there, I had grabbed her pocketbook. So I threw that thing outside the church on the ground and was like, "Because this is where it belongs. You and your little whore. This is where y'all go." And so I left. I got in the car. So I pulled back because I was about to go back inside the church. So I pulled back around the blocks. I'm like, boop, I'm going back in there. And so this lady comes out and she was like, ma'am, we don't know what's going on. We don't know. We don't understand what's happening. I said, look at my driver's license. I said, I'm married to that man. I said, I'm his wife. She was like, no. He said, that's his fiance. I said, and he a whole lie. I said, y'all got that man in there and he got his whore in there with him.